Five,
Five,
four, three,
three,
two,
2,
1. You are now live.
Former athlete, businessman, model, fashion influencer, father of 3. Don't be a hating ass bitch.
This guy was good.
Thank you for having me, Kobe. This is fun.
Crazy game, stay crazy, sign me. What up? It is your boy. None other than the host of the hottest podcast coming straight out of Wilmington, Delaware. It is your boy. Call me .Krazy, also known as Kobe Nasir Wallace, and you are tuned into the Crazy Talk podcast. But this is not just the Crazy Talk podcast. Yes, we have taken over Tuesdays. Tuesday Night Live is not gone. It shall be back very soon. But for the season, we are now officially Sports in Shit. Season 1 is officially underway. We are covering everything sports. I mean everything sports for the duration of the entirety of the fall. Fall sports, fall winter sports, we doing all that. They said, and of course, I am not here alone, which means I have my co-host, none other than my man's 50 grand, Noah fucking Bip. Bippy.
Yo.
What's up? They said you know what I'm saying? Last episode was great. Episode 1 was a phenomenal hit, in my opinion. They said we got into some things as only I knew we would. It set the stage for a very interesting follow-up, a very interesting second episode, which if you are tuning in now to the second episode of Sports in Shit. And yes, tonight it is only me and Tip. Tonight. However, y'all know we have a third co-host. His name is Mike Brock. He came in with a lot of opinions last episode, and you will see him again very, very soon. He's having some technical difficulties. And we also have a fourth unknown co-host who will be making an appearance very soon. Maybe when the season starts, we'll start integrating them in as well. They said you might also stick around because you never know. You might see some old faces. You might see that hating ass Eagles fan pop up around somewhere. You never know with him. You never know. And y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. They said so. Stick around and blow up Sports and Shit. It is the newest iteration, the newest series in the Crazy Talk podcast vault. Tip, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Like I said, we had a great episode 1. You did phenomenal production work, phenomenal producer work, and found a lot of shit for us to talk about tonight. Well, it wasn't hard to find. It has been plastered everywhere. I mean, honestly, it has been plastered every single place that you look. If you are in the social media realm, right? What I do know is, or what I will say is, there has been a huge debate online about transgender men, transgender women, transgender people entering into cisgender sports, right? To put it mildly. We don't really hear about, transgender men, which are, biological women who, change their gender into men. We don't really hear much of that, getting into the NBA or there being a problem. If that would be, we often see a lot of transgender women kind of wanting a place in cisgender women's sports, right? And I'm not sure how you feel about it, Tip. We've never really talked about this on the pod. Or we may have.
Might have
Y'all,
touched on it
we
a
done
little bit.
did fucking 50 videos, done did 27 episodes. I don't fucking know. We've probably touched on it before, but how I feel now, right now, sitting here when we're about to discuss it, is for me, there is no place for transgendered people in cisgendered sports for me, right? And here's why I say that. I say that because if transgender people are going to own their own identity and own their own space and own their own, place in society, then they also have to understand what that comes with, right? And that comes with having your own things like transgender sports leagues. That comes with having, maybe some type of segregation when it comes to maybe using transgender only bathrooms, not cisgender, whatever, using those specific bathrooms just for you, because not everybody is comfortable with that. Not everybody is okay with that. And I'm not saying that that's okay. What I'm saying is it is okay. It is okay for people to not be okay with shit. It is okay for people to not be comfortable with shit, but there's also a place in society for people to find their own kind of space, right?
Yeah.
I think in sports, there isn't. I think the barriers should be placed, the boundaries should be set, and people should play in their own leagues, right? Because that is the only way that sports can be fair, right? There are other things that make sports so, controversial with the skills that people have, or the supplements they may use, or the routines they do, or We don't need to add an extra layer to that confusion, right? We don't need to add an extra layer to that. I think there should be strictly Dickly sports. Okay, sorry, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. How do you feel about this, Tip?
I'm with you, Kobe. I mean, first off, like, I want to also say that me and Kobe are one of the biggest believers on do what the fuck you want to do as long as it ain't affecting nobody else. We're the biggest. We're say that
probably the two biggest believers in that. Yeah,
huge on that. That's one thing we will always stand by. With that being said, with the sports specifically, right? Whether it be anything physical, any physical sport, we agreed that it should be separated. For many different reasons. One, just the physical capability a man has over women is just it's dominant. Whether that be UFC, boxing. I think we came up we saw a clip or something where the transgender woman was fighting a female and like her face in like 5 different spots, something crazy like that. And so shit like that is what we're like, we gotta draw the line somewhere.
We have to draw,
and so I'm with Kobe on that one. We gotta know when to separate. Now they're obviously they're in society. We support that. You do what you want to do, but there's certain things where we just gotta put a little guidelines on. And same bathrooms. Oh, you just touched on, man. Like I don't know how some people feel comfortable going into certain bathrooms where you might see a woman presenting as a woman with a penis.
Yeah.
So and especially when you have little girls in the bathroom too, or little boys in the bathroom, like you don't want to. They shouldn't know about that just yet. You know what I'm saying? Let that be something later on down the road. So I'm with you 100% on pretty much everything you said, Cole. So
I think there's no argument when it comes to that, right? For me. However, people have had an argument about it. People, even within the WNBA, have had an argument about this. Tip, I'm going to let you take over and tell me kind of this scenario, the situation of what happened between NBA star Enes Kanter and the WNBA star Tasha. What was her name?
Tasha something. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna look into that.
Tip's going to break down everything that happened in this situation. It is.
Oh yeah, her name's Natasha Cloud. That's her name. That's who it was.
Okay.
So yeah. So I mean, you were pretty flattering with Enes Kanter being a star. I don't know if he was a star, Cole. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but I like how you was nice to him. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm sure letting people know who he could be, right?
Yeah. So this background to Enes Kanter, Enes Freedom now. He changed his last name.
Okay. Enes Freedom.
He is a Turkish American former NBA player. Had his most popular stint, I believe, was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He came off the bench. He was a solid role player within their time or their little run. Only played 11 seasons. But with that being said, Enes Kanter is one of the biggest political advocates. Not necessarily right wing or left wing, but what he thinks is right. I do remember during the Black Lives Matter, he was very vocal. Now with this transgender stuff, he was in favor of Black Lives Matter, and so I respect. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the ally in that aspect. But sometimes I feel like some people are saying that he tends to just go with stirring the pot, and this is a situation I'm pretty much going to touch upon. So I believe overseas there's currently a transgender female playing in professional sports right now. She is dominating on all assets. If you watch the film of her playing, Kobe, she looks like a 6'3", like a 6'3" grown man that plays sports. Right. And she's averaging like 20 and 20. Like the clips are crazy. So it kind of stirred the pot of like, all right, well, she's playing professional over there. What does it mean for the US?
Here.
Over here.
I see.
And this Kanter is one of those players who were like, oh, they need to be separated, they need to be doing this. They basically kind of similar to what we were saying, Kobe. And he was very vocal about it. He went to as far as the extent of going on his podcast or his little YouTube, whatever he got going on. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he basically was saying, like, you know what? I'm a woman and I'm going to enter into the WNBA, kind of putting limelight on the situation of what's going on, even though it's not an American situation that's going on right now. With that being said, he started the pot. People were talking about it. Like, is this allowed? Can he really do this? Because obviously he's a 6'11" man. Let me make that very clear. He's like 6'11", 280 pounds. He's a grown fucking man and a big ass man.
Your fucking boots at the thought of this man,
grown man,
able to do this. Right. Okay.
Yes. And so when he did this, like I said, stirred the pot, it ruffled a lot of feathers, and he's basically trying to get the WNBA to speak upon the transgender women possibly entering the NBA. The WNBA
wants the WNBA to make a stand saying this is not allowed. This is not going to be something that flies in the US and in our professional league. Basically, I want to add on to you and say that there were several meetings had with the WNBA, with the National Basketball Association, the parent league, the NBA, and they have not come to a conclusion on whether or not this is going to be a rule or a law set in place for the league, whether or not biological men will be able to enter the league. It has not been set in stone in any WNBA guidelines or regulations yet, and there have been several meetings to do so. So I want to get your thoughts on that. We know that they've met several times. We know that there has been several meetings to discuss this. We know that there has been backlash from people all over the fucking world, and we know that there has been support from people all over the world. What do you think the NBA and the WNBA are thinking? Where do you think they are leaning or landing on this?
I think they're on the side of right now it's not a concern. We're talking about transgenders take up what 0.05% of the population, and maybe 2% of that play a sport. I think that's like the least of the worries right now. So the thing is like, well, why would we even make a law if it's not something that's affecting us? It's not something that's common. It's like us banning sharks on skateboards. Why would we ban it? Because it's not a thing right now. It looks stupid doing it. So I think that's what they're looking at. Like, why would we address something that's not a thing in our country?
Also, because I do think it's a thing, right? I genuinely, I do think it's a thing. I do, however the demographics go, the small percentage of people that are transgender in our population, I do think it's something that people are worried about, right?
Right.
I think it would just be right if the NBA or the WNBA took a stance and said, yes, these are the guidelines. Transgender people are allowed to be in our leagues under these guidelines, whether it be having surgery and being fully trans or whatever I specifically wouldn't be like mad at it. Like, okay, now we have some type of guidelines. Now we have something to say, well, this can happen and this can happen, because when it comes to it, now there's nothing to argue, right? There's nothing to say, well, this is discriminatory or this is da-da-da, or we are revolting against this if it's set in stone, right? We have nothing to discuss. I think people are getting up in arms about it because there is the possibility, right? There is the
Yeah, it's a
possibility that
possibility,
a biological man could go walk into the WNBA right now based on the league regulations because there is nothing against it, right?
Right.
So I think the people that are on that side of the argument have a point. However, now let's get into Enes Kanter versus Natasha Cloud at the game.
Yes.
Where are you standing on that?
So for those who don't know, Enes Kanter ended up going to a Chicago Sky game.
Chicago Sky game, yep.
And he sat courtside where they can see him.
would.
Mind you, the WNBA is very pro LGBTQ. Let me make that very clear because there's a lot of lesbians in the WNBA, which we know. So there's a lot of just they support. There's a lot of support as far as the trans community. With that being said, we know why Enes Kanter was at that game sitting courtside, wearing a shirt that said the definition of a woman. Basically, it said like woman, and the definition was like someone who believed whatever.
Right.
And Natasha Cloud caught wind of it. She saw him, saw the shirt, and immediately started basically approaching him mid-game. And they had to be separated, and Enes Kanter was then escorted out. And he now just, I want to say about 2 or 3 hours ago, was banned from attending any Chicago Sky games. So with that being said, now you're asking me, do I agree or how I feel about it?
Yeah, first, before I ask you that, I do want to get your thoughts on him being banned from Chicago Sky games. However, he was not banned from the stadium because I believe that is also the parent stadium of the Chicago Bulls, right?
It might be.
What were your thoughts on that? He's an NBA star to some people. What were your thoughts on him being banned from Chicago Sky games, which is the WNBA team, and not from the arena? Because we saw NBA legends like Charles Oakley get banned from Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah.
Where he made millions of dollars for Madison Square Garden. And he was banned from there. So what were your thoughts on that? Do you think there was a little bit of leniency for him due to him being an NBA star?
There's a possibility. Because they also know he's not going to cause no shit at no NBA game. That's just not flying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He knows where he's able to do it, and that was at a woman's game. Let's just call a spade a spade. Now, do I think he should be banned? Yeah, probably. Because you know what you're doing. You're causing trouble. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what you're doing, and you're looking for a reaction. You got the reaction. I know you probably did want, because Natasha Cloud is someone who is very vocal about transgenders and LGBTQ. And you went to that game, and it happened to be a game that she plays at. So you knew what you were doing. If I'm not mistaken, I saw on a Fox News clip that he actually messaged the I don't know if it was the owner of the team or the general manager, because he was coached by, I believe it was the general manager of the Chicago Sky. He was coached, I don't know what intermediate level he was at, but he coached him at some point, and apparently they had a conversation where he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna sit courtside, this and the third." I don't know if he mentioned the shirt.
The shirt he had on, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he mentioned it to the guy, but the guy basically told him to enjoy the game.
Whoever that viewer is that's in the chat, drop your name, say what's up, say something so we can shout you out. Welcome to SportsN'Shi Ep.2. We are getting hot at season 1, and this is what y'all wanted. So me and Tip are getting into it. So continue to do it.
Yeah. So apparently he did text the manager, I believe, or something like that, and the guy was like, "Oh, enjoy the game." Obviously that
he
didn't last.
Right. Well, I think he enjoyed it.
I'm sure Enes kind of got a little kick out of it. He had a smile on his face.
My thoughts are definitely similar to yours, of course. He's a shock jock. We've seen this before. I think, to my point, I think there was a little bit of leniency for him because he is a male and he is an NBA star. Because on the other foot, had Natasha Cloud been at a Chicago Bulls game and Enes Kanter was on the court and that situation happened, I kind of guarantee you she would have been banned from that stadium, right? whether if she wasn't a Chicago Sky, player, right? I think that there would be a little bit more consequences for her.
I
I
agree.
think the whole situation is kind of dumb. I think we've seen before people kind of fail at protesting in professional sports, right?
Right.
I think I'm just as woke as the next black motherfucker or the next liberal motherfucker. But I think there are definitely times and places where we should kind of leave the politics of it all out. And I think professional sports is one of those stages, right? I think because we have so many demographics within the players, I think we have so many demographics, so many different races, so many different things colliding. It's kind of tedious to keep putting race or whatever or gender now. It sucks to put all that shit into it when we already have so much other shit piled on, right? Do I think we're going to see something more from this from Enes Kanter or Tasha? No, I think this was a one and done thing. I don't think we'll see those two in the same room anytime soon doing anything. Do I think that this movement is just now getting started? Yeah.
I think it's gonna follow on.
Than it already was.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think people do a lot. To your point, Tip, was this a possibility? This is why the NBA has never had a regulation about it. This is why they've never thought, because it really wasn't a possibility. And I think people fight so hard against a lot of shit that they kind of bring it into reality a lot of times. And
that's what I was basically getting at.
This is another example of that, right?
Because honestly, it's not an issue when it comes to to trans men. We're not really worried about that. It's really with the women we're worried for. I believe I want to say her name is Sophia Cunningham. She plays for the Indiana Fever. She's like a huge Trump supporter. Like she's probably the only Republican in that motherfucker, or open Republican. And she's made some comments, and she's right there with Enes Kanter, basically saying the same thing. So I mean, if she's also saying it, and she's an active player, there is a possibility that there might be some conversation. Well, there already is conversation, but there might be some guidelines or some rules set for that.
Right.
So,
next, I want to get into kind of a heated debate that has been not only on this show but online. I think a lot of people are also debating not just whether trans people should be allowed in cisgender sports, but I think people are arguing whether or not Aaron Rodgers can take the Steelers to a Super Bowl in his last season ever. I think people are debating whether or not Aaron Rodgers still has it. I think people are debating whether or not he can still go, right? Tip, like I said, this has been a debate on our show before. Just last week we had a huge debate.
Even texting my group chat, same shit, yeah.
So
even the group chat.
I think it's only befitting that we have the debate right here, on the show, right? I think it's important for me to point out that my goal in this is not to convince anybody that Aaron Rodgers is going to take the Steelers to a Super Bowl. That's not my goal here. My goal here is to point out that at 43 years old, Aaron Rodgers can still go. And given weapons, I think he can go far. That is what I just want to preface this whole debate by saying that, right? Tip, any final words before we start?
No. I mean, I knew it was coming. So
yeah. Well, first I wanted to kind of piggyback off of last week. I think it was disrespectful for us to, well, not me, because I didn't disrespect Aaron Rodgers in any type of way, form, or fashion. And some could argue that I did by putting Big Ben over him in my top 5 all-time list.
I think that was what I said.
I think some people could argue that, Tip. But when it comes to 2026 Aaron Rodgers, I think the argument that Tip has made several times that he is 43, he is declining, he is this, that, and the third, he is not the Aaron Rodgers of yesteryear, is absolutely true. Also, I think it's important to point out that given less weapons, given less opportunities, given less chances to kind of make shit happen, Aaron Rodgers has gotten by and still made things look good, right? I say that to bring up his 2023 season and his 2024 season, right? 2023 game 1, he goes down in week 1 with an Achilles injury. We don't see anything from that season. We did see the 2022 season where he's kind of on par. He's got a 64.6 QB rating for that entire season. He threw 12 interceptions with about 26 touchdowns and had a 91 passer rating on the season. A 91, hey, hasn't dropped below an A ever in his career, might I add. Then we go to the Achilles injury in 2023. We see in 2024, he comes back for the Jets. He plays all 17 games, and it's almost consistent with little to no weapons on that Jets team, right? He still has a 90.5 passer rating. 11 interceptions on the season, 28 touchdowns, and 3,000 yards.
Almost 4K.
I think almost 4K. I think that is safe to put Aaron Rodgers, also a 63 completion rating. I think that is safe to put him at declining in your defense.
To Aaron Rodgers standards. I want to be this very clear. This is Aaron Rodgers standards. This is not regular NFL player standards.
I think that's where we got confused and mixed up a lot last episode, because there is a difference between NFL standards and Aaron Rodgers standards. Because he has been above the standard for so long. Yes.
Right.
Is there a decline? Right. Now, we're going to go to last season. The 2025 season, his first season on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played only 16 games. He has a 94 passer rating, which is an increase. He has 7 interceptions, which is a decrease. 24 touchdowns, which is a stagnance, and 3,000 yards again, which is a little bit of a stagnance. He goes up in completion ratings with a 65% with a first round exit in the playoffs. Got a wild card game. Well, no, not a wild card game. Won the division and got a first round exit. To my point now, in my defense of last week, this is what I was saying. Yes, has there been a decline over the years? Yes, to Aaron Rodgers standards. To your point, yes. Is there something in the water this season that I think is different? Yes, there are more weapons and there is more opportunity for Aaron Rodgers to succeed this season based on last season, which stat-wise has been an increase for him because, in my opinion, he was given a little bit more weapons than he had on the Jets. He was given a little bit more of a team and, of course, the coaching staff. The coaching staff is not here. We have a whole new coaching staff, a whole new offensive coordinator, a whole new head coach. So how does that bode? I don't know. But I think Aaron Rodgers still has it. Also, now let's take into account on the field what we are actually seeing. Let's take the stats off the table and look at what we're seeing. I am not seeing a broken Aaron Rodgers when I'm looking on that screen. I'm not seeing a broken Aaron Rodgers. Do I see an older Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Can you tell? Yes. Is he more cautious to do certain things? Yes. However, I think Aaron Rodgers, with the ball in his hand, still takes as many shots as he used to when he was young, meaning pass. Is he taking off every chance he gets now? No. But when it comes to those passes, I think Aaron Rodgers still throws that ball out there better than anybody else.
Oh. Yeah.
And lastly, with that increase, with what I've seen on the field, I think Aaron Rodgers has the ability to take the Steelers far this season. Do I think Aaron Rodgers is washed? No. Do I think he has 2 to 3 more seasons in him if he wanted to play? No. But I think this season we're going to see some great things from Aaron Rodgers.
There's a lot of aspects with what you said, Kobe. I do agree on. I think this is one of the most. See, Rodgers doesn't like rookie receivers or young receivers. That's like his known thing because he wants you to catch the ball because he don't put that bitch in the money. He don't want you dropping that motherfucker. We both can agree on that shit.
As we saw last season. Yes. And he didn't have rookies, but he had non-veterans like Calvin Austin and Peyton and Wilson and Roman Wilson. So yeah.
So
But
yeah, so with that, I mean, Rodgers is always doing that. If you give Rodgers motherfuckers that can catch the ball, he gonna put that bitch in the money. You gonna catch the ball.
right.
With that being said, I agree. We have seen a decline in Rodgers. Do I think Rodgers is washed? See, washed is like a very weird term, right? Because what do you consider washed?
Right.
A guy that shouldn't be starting? Is it a guy that just doesn't look good, shouldn't be out there? Like he's not even a backup. Like it's what you consider washed. Rodgers is definitely a starting quarterback. Let me make that very clear. He is not the worst starting quarterback. Far from it. He's probably one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league right now. Just off of his age and his talent, what he's able to do. But I will say this, Kobe, this was Rodgers' worst year throwing the football in his career when he played at least 15 or more games or even 10 or more games. So whereas some players who have a down season, I might be quicker to lift them back up because they might be younger. Like Lamar Jackson, for example, obviously missed some games, didn't have his best year. But since Lamar is young, I don't expect that to be a trending thing for him. With Rodgers, now that he's older, when I see a drop off from an older player, I'm a little bit more concerned, right?
Okay.
Because not that there's less room for error, which I mean technically there is, especially if it's your last season.
Right.
But the trajectory of you going up isn't always likely. And so that's where I'm coming from, where I think Rodgers may not be the same. I still think he is probably top far as his talent wise ever. I think I have him probably number 3 or 4 in my top QBs ever. I'm a huge Rodgers fan, but I'm also a realist when it comes to him, and I see the decline in him. Do I think he can go far in the playoffs? I don't know. I need to see what kind of Rodgers I'm getting.
Okay.
I'm not gonna completely throw him under the bus, but I'm not gonna put a lot of high hopes in him because like I said, I don't know. He's 43 years old. I understand we saw with Brady, he did well when he was 40 or whatever, but unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers isn't Brady, and he doesn't have Brady's talent around him. And I think
Before you
agree with
finish,
that. Yes, go
before
ahead.
you finish, I think you bring up a great point. I think you bring up an amazing point with Tom Brady. I kind of want to show you the parallels between Tom Brady in his last couple of seasons versus Aaron Rodgers in his last couple of seasons, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think as we know, there has always been Brady above all, right? Brady's is that next notch above, right? Always. And I think that's always going to stand, right? And I'm not
historically,
and I'm not going to say that Aaron Rodgers is in any way, form, or fashion better than Tom Brady or what Tom Brady was in his last couple of seasons. And to your credit, also to your point, Brady was surrounded by talent a lot of the times in his last.
He was.
So when we talk for 2018, his last let's do 2019, his last season for the Patriots, right? We have 16 games played. He has about a 60% QB rating. He threw 613 passes, but he only completed 373. 373 is the same amount of passes that Aaron Rodgers completed last season.
Okay.
I want to go to then in 2020, Tampa Bay. We know the bowl season, 102 passer rating, 12 interceptions with 40 touchdowns. We got 401 completions, but again, 610 attempts. He got about a 65 on that completion rating, and then cracked 4,000 yards. Right. One thing I wanted to point out from those last 5 seasons, from 2018 all the way up into 2022, he cracked 4,000 each time. That I will say, for a 40-year-old quarterback, sets him apart from Aaron Rodgers right there. Aaron Rodgers is cusping that 4,000, but he's not cracking that 4,000 consistently for those 5 seasons. I will say, unlike Brady, one thing that stands out to me is the completion rating and the passer rating. You said that this season was Aaron Rodgers' worst year passing the football. I disagree with that simply because
yards wise. I should have made that clear. My fault. Yards wise, yes.
I was going to say because completion wise, we've seen worse years from Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I could point out two right off the bat. 2021 and 2022 were both worse years passing the football for him, completion and passer rating wise.
But I think 2021 he won MVP, or no?
Yeah, he did. That was his
Yeah.
last MVP
Okay.
that
Yeah.
he won.
I
So
would ask
for me,
QP.
that adds another layer.
Yeah.
2021, that was MVP material passing, and
Oh,
now in
100%, yeah.
2025, we're kind of looking at it as if he's died off when it's similar.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but you're also gonna look at the amount of attempts.
Yes,
You know, you gotta put that in consideration.
I agree. Which
Honestly,
is
he was
why
playing with better. Yeah. Honestly, he was
because
playing with
he
better
went from
receivers at the time.
531 attempts in 2021, that MVP season, to 498 attempts just last season.
Mm,
So he took
right.
less attempts last season. So
Mm,
I agree.
yeah. But I think part of the reason why he is getting those less attempts is because of age. You know, we're gonna be a little bit more run heavy when under his offense, just off the fact that you want him to last the whole season. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I see that
It's
philosophy.
kind of like, you know, kind of how, like, you know, what, like, put it in basketball terms, right? Jimmy Butler is known for coasting the whole regular season, and then playoffs come around, he's this big thing. I think
Right.
that could be similar to what they might try to do with Rodgers, because they know he's
Okay.
gonna put everything he has out there if y'all make the playoffs, if y'all are to make it. So I think we might see that play into factor. But the reason why I feel mainly that Rodgers is gonna decline is because, unlike Brady, Rodgers is coming off one of the worst injuries you can have in sports, right? Which is the Achilles. Kudos to him that following season he did bounce back. Too bad he played for the Jets, but I think that was actually not a bad year for Rodgers. I mean,
Okay.
if you only have Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson you're able to throw to, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not great. Yeah.
And I believe Brees Hall was out. Was he out that season? I think he might have been. I want to say Brees Hall was out. I think he was.
I'm not sure.
I think that was the same year he tore his ACL. So I mean, there was a lot of factors that he just didn't have. But the old Rodgers, to me, they still would have made the playoffs with the stuff they had around them. Prime Rodgers. I'm talking about like the 2015 Rodgers. You know what I'm talking about, Cope? So
Yeah.
that's the reason how I feel. Now, do I think Rodgers is going to be a top 15 quarterback? I would have to see, but I think it's a possibility, because I don't know how far the decline is. I don't know who's gonna elevate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know necessarily that, but it would be a question mark. I wouldn't put him necessarily automatic
Which is
top
why
15.
Which is why I
Mhm.
think that this debate is wildly interesting between the two of us. I think it's interesting because you're basically saying I've not lost hope that this is a legend and da 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 da. I just
No,
don't
he's a
think in
legend.
this
Yeah.
day and age he can live up to what other quarterbacks are doing. And I'm saying I think he can. You know, I think he's right there on par. Like you stated with Wilson, Brees Hall, and all those almost non-weapons he had on the Jets for so long. And then, like you said, prime A-Rod could have taken them to the bowl, but it wasn't prime A-Rod, you know? And I think now with his second year on the Steelers, we're not working with a prime A-Rod, but I think we're working with something that's good enough that on those first maybe 3 quarters of the game is going to do well for us. And then we can go ahead and draw Will Howard, who's been studying under him for 2 seasons now. We can draw Drew
Oh no, your
Aller.
future is bright as far as young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about. I'm not Cole. I ain't worried
Right.
about that shit. We were talking about that in a
Right.
group chat. Like, I was like, this is the best set of backup QBs outside of
we've
what the
had in a
Rams
while.
got with Stetson Bennett. These are the best backups I've in the league. I would down to earth.
I would argue that too.
fair to
In the
say.
Drew Aller, not discounting Mason Rudolph, right?
Mhm.
I think we take Mason Rudolph out of that QB room and get a real QB1 next season, which we might not even have to. I think Will Howard may be ready to go ahead and take the reins on, and him and Drew Aller can kind of,
I would
do a
have them
thing.
fight for that. I'll have them fight
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
I think that would be smooth. Learning on the Rodgers, I think, is the smartest person you can probably learn on it. I heard he's a little bit of an asshole, but if you really just watch, and I'm assuming they study his game, that's the best person to watch. Best person to watch.
Which was kind of a part of contention at the beginning of last season, right? Remember, I think a lot of people were, not even a lot of people, I think Aaron Rodgers said it out of his own mouth that it was hard to get receivers to come to practice. It was hard to get receivers to come to those extra trainings that he does. It was hard to get, not the young quarterbacks, but the other quarterbacks, Mr. Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, to get them in a fucking session to learn from him. So not going to say whether he's an asshole or not. I don't know, but there was he definitely said things that let us know that he wasn't happy with the way that the team bonded on that off season, which we saw a difference this off season.
And that's rightfully so. I feel like I look at Brady and Rodgers as like that Kobe MJ type mentality where like they expect you to be when they're working, they expect you to be right there next to them working. And that's kind of why I touched on, Brady used to cuss out the fucking old line. We've seen that code many times. He gets sacked. He in everybody's face. Same thing with Rodgers. You drop that ball and he puts that bitch in the money. Yo, he's gonna come and talk to you. Like don't fuck around.
And I mean, we've heard terrible things about almost all of the top 5 quarterbacks, right? I think Roethlisberger has a lot of stories out there that have been coming out lately about how terrible he was as a teammate, right?
Yeah.
Just with his disposition and attitude, to other teammates. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
but this like I said, this was interesting. This was definitely interesting. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be, whether or not we go far or not, I think Aaron Rodgers will be a big talking point for a majority of the season for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a legend. It's a legend on his last run. We're gonna talk about the whole year.
Yeah, it's going to be something regardless, Yeah. But speaking of starting something, I think it's time, Tip, that we start something else. Last week we started something by giving our top 10 teams list for the upcoming season. The polls were electrifying. Tip, you did win the poll. I believe you won the poll by like 2 votes. I came in second place at about 4 votes. I think you had 6, I had 4, and Brock had 2. And that was on Instagram. I put up a poll of who, whose list do you agree with. I'm not going to dish on our top 10 list from last week. If you want to hear our top 10, you can definitely go back and listen to that 4-hour-long episode that we did last week, which I still think is fucking crazy that we even did that, got through it, and didn't even realize it was 4 hours. And yeah, tonight we are getting into our top 5 positional rankings. We are going to do our top 5 positional rankings for all of the offensive skill positions, wide receivers. Tip did his tight ends list. I did not, so we're going to go with Tip's list. QBs and running backs. And then on our defensive side, we have our defensive linemen, of course, our edge rushers, our linebackers outside and inside. And then we have our DBs. We have our corners in one category, and then we have our safeties in another category. And we will be dishing on our top 5 for all those positions. I'm going to go ahead and let Tip do his top 5 tight ends first, because I did not do my tight ends list. So we can just go ahead and get your top 5 tight ends, right?
Yeah, so real quick, I know I always say I try not to be biased, but in this case, I'm gonna be a little biased. I'm able to back it up. For my number 1 tight end, I personally have Brock Bowers. That's the Raiders tight end. I know this past year, he didn't have that good of a season. We know who his quarterback was. We're not really going to touch on that too much. But that season beforehand, he had great numbers. He was pretty much consensus the best tight end in the league at the time. So right this year I have him at number 1. Then we got Trey McBride. I think he stepped up on crazy levels for the Cardinals. He was consensus best tight end in the league. It was a pretty big margin. So I gotta tip my hat off to him. Then I got Tyler Warren for the Colts. Hell of a season last year as well. Not too much of a debate about him. Then I have George Kittle, 49ers tight end. We know his name. We know what he does. Don't gotta say too much. And at 5, I mean, might be a little debatable. I don't know how some people feel about it. I got Sam Laporta, tight end for the Lions. Same situation with him. He not that good of a year, but very consistent. Always gets the job done. I love the way he plays. I have a few honorable mentions. I have one being Kyle Pitts. I feel for Kyle Pitts on so many levels because this nigga's never had a quarterback and he can never get in the end zone. He just started getting in the end zone fairly recently. So I have him in my honorable mentions because I never knew with him. Then I got Colston Loveland for the Bears. As we know, Caleb Williams had one of his kind of like a breakout year. You could say Madden cover, had some crazy ass plays. So his tight end definitely benefited from him having one of those good years. And a player that I didn't type in, Kobe, but I think I'm gonna put him in honorable mention is what am I drawing a bank? Travis Kelce. He also had a kind of a drop off year, but at the end of the day, still Travis Kelce. He's still a weapon. He's still scary as hell. So that's kind of how my list just went. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, like I said before we got on, I'm not really, with the tight ends. I think that list, McBride, I think Kittle, I think those are staples that you just have to have on your list. Like you said earlier, I probably would have thrown Dallas Goedert in there had we saw a little bit of a more productive season from him. Because he's kind of one of those staples as well. For the last couple seasons, and I think, for me, I would have thrown. I mean, I know we saw a lot of his season was, he was injured, but I think potential wise, I would have gone with Steelers tight end Darnell Washington. I think before that injury, we saw a little bit of a shell breaking for Washington in a way, and I think that in 2026, we're probably going to use him as more of a weapon in that offense, as we were starting to before prior to his injury. Where does he rank amongst all those guys? I don't know.
I would say I would say if there's a time for him to have a breakout season, it will be this year.
Yeah.
But for me, this past
season, I believe.
Yeah, this would be his senior season actually. Because this year he played 16 games, and only had 364 yards. Honestly, compared to those guys last season, yeah. I thought actually I had to look. Yeah, he did. I thought he played less. Me too, Cole.
Yeah,
I thought
he
played
had
less.
that shoulder injury
But I guess he was playing through it. I mean, but he's probably on restricted minutes. I don't know necessarily how many downs he played. I think talent wise, and if you do like the eye test, he looks like the most physical and dominant tight end possibly
in the league. Yeah,
in the league. But I would want to see more from him. I'm a Georgia guy, so I'm rocking with him no matter what. I always rock with my Georgia guys. So I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't think just Yak can put him top 10 on that cusp. But I think if you go off potential and what he possibly can do if he gets it all together, and I heard he lost weight as well, Kobe.
I heard that as well. As well. As he was standing at 310 last season.
Yeah, he was a big boy. So I think now he dropped a couple pounds, works on his game. I think he can definitely break out to a top 10 possibly, yeah.
All right, let's get into some more offensive positions, right? I think our offensive positions are going to be kind of the most controversial. So let's go ahead and get those and debate those out the way, right? I will start, and the position we're going to start with are our running backs. So ready your list, because I'm gonna run through mine. All right.
Okay.
All right. And to give y'all a little bit more of a fancy feel, we are going to widescreen for our presentations. Okay. They said at number 5. I'm gonna start from 5. Tip. I don't know if you're gonna do 1 through 5 or 5 through 1, but
it don't matter. You can do however you want to do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna do 5 through 1.
Okay.
So at number 5, coming in at number 5, this may be controversial. This may not be controversial. I'm going Javonte Williams of the Dallas Cowboys. Last season he produced 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns on that number 1 offense for 16 weeks. Okay. So I'm going in this 2026 season. I think Dak is still fired up. I like that 2-man they have out there at the receivers, as we're going to get to later. I think Javonte Williams is going to be another key piece of that offense this season. Number 4, I am going Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions. Number 4, I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions. Similar to Javonte Williams, he had 1,200 rushing yards this season. Only beat Javonte Williams by 23 yards. 23 yards. He only beat him by 23 yards. Rushing this season, he had 616 receiving yards, which is another. He has over Javonte Williams, but I think they are still neck and neck when I do my eye test. To me. And he has 18 total touchdowns on that season. The Detroit Lions, as we saw, they did not make the playoffs as well, and neither did the Cowboys. What that will look like adding in postseason performance, I don't know. But I'm going 5, Javonte Williams, and I'm going 4, Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 3, I'm going Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor led the league with 18 rushing touchdowns with 1,500 yards. No debate for me. I'm going him at number 3. Number 2, I have to go CMC San Francisco 49ers. CMC is a staple. CMC is the guy. CMC is the guy you go to. Like I said, he stood in there with the third string team and beat the Eagles, coming off of an injury. So don't argue me with Christian McCaffrey, please. And number one, I had to give it to Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I had to give it to Bijan Robinson with the combination of stats. We are looking, one second, we're looking at a 2025 season for Bijan Robinson. See, tonight I can't fucking stat it up. Last season, these bitches, they got me off my game. I'm not playing that no more. Okay, they said stat line for Bijan Robinson is 1,400 yards rushing, 7 rushing touchdowns, but 820 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Produced in the air, on the ground, the best, better than any other running back. And that is my top 5 running back list. Noah Tip, before we get to our debates, we are going to run through your list.
Yes. So I'm gonna start off a little bit different than Kolb, but similar players. I wouldn't put in an honorable mention for Javonte Williams. I wasn't even thinking about it. Unfortunately, I don't know why I wasn't thinking about Javonte Williams. Put in my honorable mention. I don't have him top 5, but I respect that Kolb has him in his top 5. I cannot argue that. But I want to start off with my 5th spot right now. I do have Jonathan Taylor. I know Kolb's probably gonna be looking at me crazy right now. I can't see him, but I know he's gonna be crazy. But I do have him at my 5 spot. I can't really back him up why I got him on my 5 spot, but this is like my prediction going into next season.
Okay.
After Jonathan Taylor, I do have James Cook. I think Kobe forgot about him, and I know he's probably scratching his head like why he didn't put him in there, but I know you forgot. He did put up 1,600 yards. He led the league in rushing last year. Had 12 touchdowns on the year. Receiving wise, he's always up there playing with Josh Allen, especially when they had no weapons.
Coming out the backfield as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, 3rd, I do have Christian McCaffrey when healthy.
Okay.
And the reason why for CMC, same reason as Kolb, dude is an all-around stud. He's a football player. Receiving, rushing, whatever you need Christian McCaffrey to do. To me, he's the most versatile back, arguably, in the league right now. Then at my 2 spot, I had Bijan. I was a little debatable between Bijan. I have Jameer number 1, but we'll get to that.
Number 1. Okay.
So Bijan I was a little iffy with. I didn't know exactly where to put him. But I mean, Kolb got him at 1. I'm never gonna argue with Bijan at 1. I can't make a valid argument if he's not 1 or not 2. Whatever you want to put him, he gotta be top 2 in my opinion. But at number 1, I do have Jahmyr Gibbs. I know he had a little bit of a I guess we can call it down season. Just off the fact that the Lions just seemed discombobulated. They weren't looking that good, but the brother just got paid, and I know the Lions are gonna run him to the ground. So I do believe he will be the best running back in the league.
Okay, I am agreeing. I'm agreeing so far with for the running backs. I think running back is a kind of clean cut position. There's not really a lot to go off of besides those on the ground stats, right? But even when you factor in those on the air, CMC at your number 3, I was kind of skeptical. I think Bijan and CMC for me were my 1 and 2. CMC led the NFL with touches, with 413 touches on the season last year, but he kind of mellowed out when it came to rushing yards, as did Javonte Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs for me.
He led the league in yards though, right? If I'm not mistaken, like yards in general, all-purpose yards. I think he was number 1.
Oh yeah, all-purpose yards, because he had. Yards? That's where I was going. He had 924 receiving yards on last season. So, yeah, that's why I had him and Bijan up there at my 1 and 2. I feel like they held it down. You're right. I'm going to go ahead and throw James Cook an honorable mention. I totally forgot 1,600 yard James Cook. Yeah, I did. Swiss Army knife for the Buffalo Bills. I know I said a lot about the Buffalo Bills last week. James Cook, outside of Josh Allen, is their next staple to me. So I agree with you on that. And yeah, I was surprised that you didn't have Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams had in my opinion, some would say a breakout season last year.
Cool. Let's touch on it real quick because I know they're gonna bring it up in the comments, right?
Okay.
And I know we're gonna agree on this. So I'm not really too worried about this. Why don't we have Saquon Barkley in our top 5?
Because this is in the top 10.
All right, leave it. I
Simple.
like that. All right, cool. Say no more.
Simple.
Say no
The
more.
same reason, I think last season you could argue because he didn't have a better season than this guy on paper, but the eye test he did. The same reason you could ask, why isn't Derrick Henry in our top 5s? Derrick Henry had a good season on the ground last season. He rushed.
He actually did. A lot of people don't know that.
16 touchdowns.
It's those fumbles that fucked them up.
I was going to say, with those fumbles, it kind of, floods your season.
But Kobe, what's crazy? That we didn't even consider. James Cook has more fumbles than him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, James Cook had 6 fumbles, and we didn't hear about it.
How many did Derrick Henry? I was going to say, I thought Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry only had 4.
We have 4. See, that was another thing that media kind of blew that out of proportion as well. Well, I'm glad that our running backs list was kind of on par with each other. Let's get into the receivers, right? I think it's only fair we go right into the receivers, right?
Right. Yeah. Do it.
And I'm going to let you go ahead and go first.
Yeah. So receivers, I think me and Cole probably gonna have similar lists. I don't know if the order's gonna be the same, but same names. Number 1, me personally, I have Jamar Chase.
Okay, you're going 1 through 5.
Oh yeah, I'll start off with 1. I'm sorry. So number 1, I got Jamar Chase.
Okay.
If you're talking about yak, hands, the whole 9, I think Jamar is probably the most complete receiver we have in the NFL. Then at number 2, I can't ignore what he did. But that is Jackson Smith-Njigba. He had one of the best seasons I've seen from a receiver. Just like the whole year. You put up 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, Super Bowl. Even though you're non-existent in the Super Bowl, but we're gonna ignore that. But hell of a year. I love what I saw from him. Me personally. So yeah, I have him at my number 2.
Okay.
Now number 3, this is a little different because he's arguably my number 1 or 2 possibly, but I don't know how he is mentally and physically, and that is Puka Nacua. He's had a lot of off the field issues. And I had a lot of concerns for him. He actually played 1 game less than Jackson Njigba and had only about 80 yards less than him.
Yeah.
And so I think if Puka plays another game, he's in the same amount of touchdowns exactly. And actually more yards after the catch too. And less fumbles. And I'm pretty sure he had less targets as well. But like I said, Puka to me could possibly be in that 1-2 spot, but I just don't know how his mental is, and he's hurt, so I'm iffy about him right now.
Right.
Then at my number 4, I know he didn't have the best year, due to just quarterback play, and just the whole team just being shitty. It's Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
I have him at 4. I know what he's capable of. We've seen what he's able to do. I'm not too hard on guys who have 1 bad year, especially when they're young. We and Cope talked about this already. So I do have him on my 4 spot. Now, Justin Jefferson is one of those guys that can jump to number 1 as well. I honestly believe anyone in that top 5 can jump to number 1, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, you saying that lets me know. Okay.
Yeah, and so then at number 5, I have a guy who still finished almost top 10 in receiving yards with 3 less games played than pretty much everybody else, and splitting touches. And that's CeeDee Lamb. He played only 14 games and put up 1,000 yards.
Whoa.
Didn't have that many touchdowns. But I do think going into the season he's gonna be a lot better. And if you just talk about route running and just overall play, I gotta throw him in there. And I got a couple of honorable mentions that we can throw in. I got George Pickens honorable mention. I also then have Amon St. Brown and Nico Collins possibly. And then if healthy, what's the boy from the Giants? Neighbors.
Okay.
Possibly.
So for this one, I'm not going to full screen myself because I kind of want to debate with you while I say out my list.
Yes.
When we can do that for another, coming up. So I agree with your list, right? I agree with parts of your list. I agree with some placements. Number 1, I went Puka Nacua.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Puka Nacua and Matt Stafford for me are a QB and receiver match made in heaven. It looks like.
Yes.
1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, like I said, with 129 receptions, a league high. It's something to say for me. I'm liking Puka. I think it's different. I think he jumped up out of nowhere these past 2 seasons, and he's taken the title. He's taken the, once we get to awards, we'll probably talk about him again. I'm not sure. Number 2, interestingly enough, and I think my number 2 through 4 is going to maybe be a little different. It's definitely a little different than yours. I don't know if you'll understand it, but once I explain it, you might. Number 2, I have Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
With the Vikings. Like you said, he was surrounded by nothing. He was the team was terrible, and he had to carry them literally. Like when you think of carrying a team, you think Jamar Chase and you think Justin Jefferson.
I'd agree.
Outside of like a quarterback carrying the team, that's what you think of, like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, right? Justin Jefferson, I don't know if he was given a lifeline, but in my football heart of hearts, he was given a lifeline by being given Kyler Murray.
That's something. It's enough. It should be enough.
I think it's enough. He's played with Sam Darnold. I think it's enough.
Yeah.
We've seen what like you've been saying, we've seen what the Vikings can do those past couple seasons where they had Sam Darnold and fucking Justin Jefferson. And now Sam Darnold done went off and won the Super Bowl, but we see what, maybe Kyler Murray can do now that he's in a better environment, so to speak, leaving Arizona, right? I think fresh eyes and a fresh set of uniform could do Kyler Murray well.
Yeah. Yeah.
My 3 spot, and this is why I think you'll think it's interesting. My 3 spot takes one of your spots and an honorable mention, and it ties them. So tied at number 3, I have the dynamic duo of the Dallas Cowboys, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, you have them tied at 3?
I have them tied at 3. Like you said, splitting touches. You called out CeeDee Lamb's stats, and I was glad you did. I was a little disappointed that you honorable mentioned George Pickens because I feel they are on par. George Pickens comes in with 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns on the season while splitting touches. He did play more games than CD, but I think those stats kind of rival each other. I put them at number 3 as, like I said, with Javonte Williams. I think Dak is still on fire. I think that Dallas Cowboys team has potential this season. That's why I have them tied at my number 3. Also going over my number 4, which is Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase has been biting off more than he can chew these last couple seasons. I think not having Joe last season showed us, is he carrying the team or is he maybe not enough even without Joe? Like, does Jamar Chase need more than just Joe Burrow?
So let me ask you this. Do you think Jamar Chase is taking too much of a load that can not derail his career, but shorten his lifespan in the NFL? Is that why you're kind of like, all right, he might be?
Jamar Chase plays every down of almost every game for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
And even with Joe, we've seen them make it far, but they have not gotten the job done yet. Do I think also a new set of uniforms and a fresh set of eyes could work for Jamar Chase? Absolutely. I think Jamar Chase could go pretty much anywhere and shine right now.
To an actual contender with an actual O-line. Because I feel bad for Joe, because Joe was, we know Joe is good.
Joe is,
but he just
is
not
nothing over there. Yeah. There's nothing over there. I would for the last 20 years. Like that's Cincinnati, right?
Right.
I don't know if they don't got no money over there or what the deal is, but yeah. And at number 5, you had him in your list, and I have him at number 5 on my list. Jackson Smith and Jigma, Super Bowl winner. He won the what did he win last year?
Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year, right? Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year. He led the league in receiving yards, but he only had 119 receptions, unlike Puka Nacua, who had 10 more. And they had the same amount of touchdowns, right? So for me, that's why Puka goes number 1 for me, and then I have all the minutia in the middle, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba kind of caps off my list.
Now, would you say that the reason why you don't have Jackson Smith and Najibba that high is because he only showed you really one good season, where these other guys probably shown you at least 2-3 years of just like I'm one of them ones. I mean, outside of George Pickens, I feel like we always knew it was in him. It's just situational with the Steelers and the quarterback play. It was really never able to show. So okay, I can't argue that list. I can't argue that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
we
did better.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now we are going to get into probably the most highly anticipated position of the night.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna start off with honorable mentions off the bat. I have Drake May in there. I know Brock will probably be pissed about it. I know you probably would agree. Possibly. Yeah, I just like I said, one season. Honorable mention.
Okay.
Oh,
I see why you have him there.
All right. I see why you have him there. But yeah, I'm iffy. I'm iffy, not iffy, but like I said, it's 1 year. I understand went to the Super Bowl. Team is very good. But me personally, these other guys, I think just had better seasons as far as I guess quote unquote regular seasons or whatever, or what they were able to do with their team. Also have Joe Burrow. To me, Joe Burrow has always been a top 5 QB. He just can never stay healthy, and he never has an O-line. So I'm always I can't put him that high. Me personally, I can't. Because if you can't play, the best availability is the one that's available, or whatever, however it goes. But starting at 5, I do have Dak Prescott. Basically what you touched on, Kobe, the weapons he has, he's just bound to have a good year. God willingly, if he stays healthy, he should be in that, possibly in those MVP talks. Then at 4, I have Lamar Jackson. Like I said, when healthy, we know what he's able to do. He's an MVP caliber player. I just hope that with the new coach, maybe he can do something with it, but we shall see. Next on my list, I then have Josh Allen at number 3. I was iffy between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, because they both kind of give me the same reasons why I can never really put them in that 1 or 2 spot. It's what their decision making in the playoffs are always pretty questionable. I know Dak Prescott has the same issue, but with them, it's always both of them are always given an excuse to some aspect, especially with Josh Allen. I've seen Josh Allen do a lot of dumb shit and kind of get away with it. So therefore, I can't really put him as high as these other guys. So at my 1 and 2, who I think are interchangeable when healthy, is Matt Stafford number 2, and then Patrick Mahomes number 1. The reason why I have Matt Stafford number 2, the weapons he has is insane. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, I think that's probably one of the better duos in the league. I personally have the CD George Pickens duo higher, but this is right there with him. I would say that's number 2. And then Patrick Mahomes, like I said, it's Patrick Mahomes. Cole, we talked about Pat numerous times. When he's healthy and you give him something to work with, dude can really make some shit shake. And to me, when he's healthy, he is the best quarterback, even though he's coming off an ACL injury.
Which is important to take into consideration, which is why, and I'm just going to get right into it, right? We could split screen for my QB's list, because based on yours, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of contention, right? But I will start just like you started yours. I'll throw out some honorable mentions. I'm going to go ahead and start with my first honorable mention, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes did not crack my top 5 this season for simple facts. We saw the injury prior to injury. I think we saw about 4 games. No, we saw like
we saw more than that. We saw like 7, more than that. Yeah, 7
or 8 games from Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs were struggling.
They were.
We saw, not some great things from that Kansas City Chiefs offense, opposed to what we're used to, right? So that's why I have, and like you said, coming off ACL injury, that is prominent, that is important for a quarterback, especially a quarterback that maybe not has the weapons that he's used to having. So he might have to scramble some more. He might have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And being a little injury prone, maybe is going to weigh a toll on Patrick Mahomes this season. Maybe we see another season where the Chiefs are kind of struggling. I'm not sure.
Right.
But I do not doubt that when healthy, when weaponed up, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
In the league,
Yeah.
yes.
My second honorable mention. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love.
I didn't think about that.
I like Jordan Love.
You like Jordan Love? Okay.
I like Jordan Love as a quarterback. I think they did great by going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, right? I think would I have let Aaron Rodgers teach that boy up a little bit more? Yeah. But I like Jordan Love. I like his tenacity. I like the heart that he has in those hard games, like against the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't waver, right? We saw him up against great quarterbacks like the Bears. He didn't waver. Caleb Williams, well, he didn't waver, and that leads me to my next honorable mention, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams with the Bears had an amazing season last year. They won the North last year, and little fizzled out a little at the end there. I can't deny that, which is why he didn't crack my top 5, right? And I would have wished we probably would have did top 10 for the quarterbacks because there's just so many guys we're going to forget about, right? And that's okay. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my top 5 here. Coming in at number 5, I have Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions. Last week, I said a lot of things about Jared Goff. I know, I understand. I said a lot of things about the Lions, but I think Tip hit the nail on the head earlier when he said we are judging the positions based off of what these guys do solo, not really as much as what they're doing as the Detroit Lions or as the Kansas. We're judging these guys for their position, right? And based on the other guys around them, right? Coming in at number 4, I have Drake May. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting you had him as an honorable mention, right? I think Drake May, considering his age, considering that was his sophomore season, went far. And I think he can double it. And I don't know what Drake May does this season. I'm going to be honest. After that playoff performance, I don't know what Drake May does this season. I'm hopeful that he doesn't one-hit wonder it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we do see a lot of that. We do see a lot of that.
I hope that's not what this is, Number 3, I have to go Justin Herbert of the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert has been in the league for 6 seasons now, and we've never saw anything from Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is oddly finding his sea legs. I think he's finding his legs right now. I think given some weapons, he can give us more. He can show us more. I think if we're putting him in those talks with people like Jared Goff, with Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold, Trevor Lawrence, all those guys, I think he's coming up and he's holding his own with those guys, which is why I have him right there at my number 3. And this might surprise you because it's completely different from your top 3, right? Number 2, I'm going Dak Prescott, the number 1 offense for 16 weeks. I can't stress it enough. As you can see, riddled all over my top 5 for my position on offense are Dallas Cowboys players. Hence the reason they made my top 10 last week. The Dallas Cowboys got a squad over there on offense. I don't think there's an argument there, right?
No, no one's gonna argue that.
Tighten up that offensive line, and I think we see an unstoppable offense.
I agree.
Right? And then at number 1, I can't overlook Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford is the staple of quarterbacks for the last 2 to 5 seasons. I think when you think quarterbacks outside of Brady's and the Aaron Rodgers, I think for these last couple of seasons, you think Patrick Mahomes and you think Matt Stafford.
Okay.
So go ahead, give it to me. What? I know there's.
I'm gonna go. I'm going for 1 point. So you said Justin Herbert, right?
Yes.
I get why people are big on Justin Herbert. I get it to an extent.
And let me preface that by saying I struggle putting him at number 3. I didn't struggle putting him on my list. I struggled at putting him number 3 because Jared Goff produced more than him. Caleb Williams produced more than him. Sam Darnold produced more than him. I just liked what I saw from Justin Herbert after 5 years in the NFL last season. We're finally seeing a little glimpse of college Justin Herbert.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing is with me, I don't understand why you don't have Josh Allen in there. Former MVP,
Or Lamar
like
Jackson.
literally 2 years ago. I know, I get that. I mean, Lamar, I get that's in the division, so I can't really argue with that. But I'm gonna say that for last. But yeah, Josh Allen's always in the playoffs. He's always top 5 in pretty much every category. Like to me, I don't see how you don't put him in there. I mean, his completion percentage was almost 70 this year, and his best receiver was probably James Cook.
Because
So,
like
mm,
a lot of people like to say about the Steelers, you've had winning seasons for the last 20 years. What will you do with it? You've been winning for the last 6, 7 seasons. When are we going to see Josh Allen accomplish?
I mean, to be fair, I get what you're saying. Those years with Stephon Diggs, I think me and you can both agree that those are years he probably should have went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We could both agree on that. But these last 2 years without Stephon Diggs, he really hasn't had a true weapon. And I think now finally we're gonna see it with DJ Moore, who I think is a decent wide receiver 1. So I expect him to play even better than what he did this year. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he led the league in completion percentage, with 69.3, which is remarkable for what he had. Didn't accumulate 4,000 yards, which I was shocked about when I read the stats. He only put up 3,668. So, but yeah, I gotta put Josh Allen in my top 5.
Only 200 yards shy of Aaron Rodgers.
I agree, yeah. But to be fair, the 70% completion percentage, and he was sacked 40 times this year, Josh Allen, which is the most he's ever been sacked in his whole career. So it was just insane. But he still put up one of his best passer ratings ever in his career, which was 102.2.
Okay.
So I like I said, I feel like you have to put him in your top 5. I don't care where you put him, but it's almost basically for certain that the Bills, when healthy, if Josh Allen's healthy, they're making the playoffs and are winning at least one playoff game. That's almost guaranteed with the Bills.
And I agree with you there. I also, like I said, for some of those guys, the eye test got me. The stat line was speaking, but the eye test got me as well. I think for not just Josh Allen, but for Lamar Jackson, and also a guy we haven't even touched or talked about, Jalen Hurts. I think last season I saw drops. I saw drops in their performances. Whether injury was a reason, weapon was a reason for Josh Allen, or if cohesion was a reason for Jalen Hurts. All 3 of them had lackluster seasons as formidable quarterbacks. So for me, they just kind of dropped off. Right? I was loving that we saw some new energy.
I get why you're saying they had drop off, but to me, Josh Allen didn't have a drop off. He had one of his a better season than both those guys, and still was able to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. So me, when I see Justin Herbert, I just don't. The only playoff game I saw you do is when you blew a 30-point lead, even though your defense gave you 4 turnovers and you lost to Trevor Lawrence like his sophomore year. So with Justin Herbert, I'm iffy with him.
With a very, I wouldn't say stacked, but a very rambunctious Jaguars team that had a lot of upsets that season. But
yes and no. I mean, names, but like it was a very, very young team. Now we can look back and be like, oh, there was some good tough dudes on there, but at the time they weren't what they.
I know for a fact because they were giving us issues during those.
Oh no, they was giving everyone the issues because they had a talent, but they didn't eclipse that threshold, and by then they all separated. Yeah. So with that, even the Chargers defense was nice then, because you remember you had Bosa and you had James Derwin, so they had a squad. That, like I said, they gave
pretty much
Justin Herbert 4 turnovers in a playoff game. You have 4 turnovers in a playoff game, you win that game if you cause 4 turnovers. So with Justin Herbert, I'm very iffy on. Lamar Jackson, we could touch on him a little bit. I understand he had a bad season last year. To Lamar standards, I would say to Lamar standards. The dude was sacked like crazy this year. Obviously was battling injury. For all the times he was getting fucking railed. Pause. but I always got to put Lamar in my top 5. This is a 3 or 4 time MVP.
Yeah. No,
I
2.
can't count him out. 2? Was it 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't count him out ever. I can't. Like if he is he gonna go to the Super Bowl? Probably not. I don't think he reminds me of like a Russell Westbrook. Like he's hard to coach because the way he plays, they're good, but they're not winning football good. Like when it's time to throw the ball, I don't think Lamar is the best when it comes to throwing the football outside of 2024, where I thought he had one of his best throwing years ever, and it was actually the year he didn't win the MVP when I thought he did. But that's a whole other conversation.
And I think we can kind of crack more into the minutiae of the other quarterbacks once we have Brock back. Because we still, like I said, guys, we still have 2 other co-hosts, right? Who we have to get opinions from. We have to get takes from. I'm liking that me and Tip aren't killing each other over these top 5s. It's nice right now. Because I know when Brock gets added to the mix and he gets added to the mix, there will be some differences in these top 5, at least as far as quarterbacks go, right?
This is the Drake May shit. That's gonna be the kick.
Right. Now my favorite part of this, my favorite side of the ball, where I grew up, defense. I love defense. So let's get into our defensive position rankings, right? And we are going to stay split screen for our defensive rankings.
Let's do it.
You can go ahead and go first, and let's start with our edge rushers.
Edge rushers, okay. I think me and Cole probably gonna have similar lists. We probably won't argue with this, so I'm sorry, y'all. But number 1, I know he has number 1 is Myles Garrett. That's just we can't
argue that.
I mean, there's no. If you argue that, I don't know if you're watching football or if you're trying to rage bait. Like I don't know what it is.
Sack title, set sack record.
It's just. I test, stat test, like whatever you want to look at. Yeah, the way he looked, like just everything, like he's just like you're like, yo, he's a freak of nature, probably first bat Hall of Famer, no arguments there. Now this is where we're gonna probably see some differences. I got number 2. I got Will Anderson. For the Texans, I think he also, eye test stat wise, dude was just a beast. One of the bigger front, probably the best player on defense on that Texans team, arguably. Everything I saw from him was just incredible. Okay. Then at number 3, I have in asterisks, when healthy, is Micah Parsons, former Cowboy, Green Bay's Packer player. When healthy, I'm gonna emphasize when healthy.
I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad about it because he's on mine. But
he's on yours.
What the fuck? Yeah. When healthy,
because he took the ACL. Because he tore his ACL last year. So I don't know how he's gonna bounce back. You know, big boy, tear your ACL. Not a good mix.
Okay.
And I'm just going off of history what Michael Parsons been able to do. I am iffy about his run defense. I think he's a great pass rusher. But when it comes to run defense outside compared to the other guys I'm going to name, but the ones I did name, Will Enes and Myles Garrett, he's just not as good. So this is a possibility where he can probably drop, in my opinion. And this is another guy I have same thing if healthy is TJ Watt.
Okay, I was about to say what we talking about here. Are we serious?
If TJ Watt is healthy and he's not playing through injury, and I like TJ Watt because he's one of those guys that, regardless of what he's going through, he is gonna step on that field. He's one of the guys where I'm like they have that dog in them. You know, when we talk about dudes that have that it factor, just like his brother, they're gonna play regardless. Yeah. And I know he's been battling a lot of shit, but I gotta give respect when respect is due. I know he didn't have a great year statistically compared to these other guys, but if you do that eye test and what he goes through and how much he's getting held. A lot of people don't talk about that. He's definitely up there. And then at my 5 spot, I do have Max Crosby. Like I said, another stud. Eye test wise, I feel like he's one of those ones.
He's back on the Raiders, or did the Ravens?
He's back on he's back on the Raiders. Okay. So yeah, I have him there. And then I got another honorable mention. I forgot, and I'm just now thinking about it. Is Trey Henderson, the dude that played for the Bengals, the white boy. I don't know who's he played for now. The Ravens
this season. No, he's on the Ravens. Yeah, it's either the Ravens or the Commanders.
Let me look that up.
Trey,
Yeah, so he's with the
yeah.
Ravens. Yeah, so I think with that Ravens team, he's bound to make that probably that extra leap. I know you don't want to think about it, Cole, but he is one of those guys where we gotta tip our hats off to. So yeah, that's where I ended.
I'll start with my honorable mention for this season.
Mhm.
I'm going with my honorable mention. I'm going to go with Joey Bosa for the Buffalo Bills. I think Joey and Nick, for that matter,
I was about
when
to say you
healthy,
mentioned Nick, yeah.
when in the game, when focused, when healthy, when everything is aligning for them, I think those two guys play amazing. I think the Buffalo Bills kind of missed out on the Joey Bosa of yesteryear. Hopefully he can kind of tap into that this year and do something for them. And then I'm going to get right into my list. Number 5, when healthy, I have Micah Parsons
Fair.
for the Green Bay Packers.
Fair.
Followed by number 4,
Mhm.
Nick Herbig of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if you're hip to Nick Herbig. I don't know if you know anything about Nick Herbig. He broke out last year, had a 87.1 pass rush grade and 47 pressures with splitting reps. So I think Nick Herbig is not only going to be a staple for Pittsburgh's defense, but I think he, alongside TJ Watt, is formidable, right? And then, of course, number 3, when healthy, TJ Watt. I think he had a little bit of a down year, which, as a Steelers fan, I can mention. I still think TJ Watt is among Myles Garrett as one of the best, probably the top 2. They fought for years on that. TJ has won multiple times, as has Myles Garrett. So I think when healthy, we have to take TJ at number 3. Number 2, this might be interesting. I have Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions.
So you know Will Anderson?
I didn't have Will Anderson in my top.
Why?
I think Will Anderson has help over there with Hunter.
Fair enough. I can't really. Okay.
So I mean, as a duo, as a core,
they're the best.
front,
They're the best edge rushing duo in the league. Yes, they do.
That whole front 7 is mean.
He doesn't get doubled. He doesn't get doubled compared to these other guys. I agree. He does not get doubled.
So I have Aiden Hutchinson, 92.2 pass rush grade, and 100 pressures on last season. So that's why I went Aiden Hutchinson for number 2, and then number 1, like you said, there's no argument, Myles Garrett. Right, which brings me to go ahead into, because I don't think we have to really argue anything there. I liked your list.
I mean, the Steelers one, the Nick Herbig. I mean,
Nick Herbig. Okay, yes. Give me your thoughts.
I know you watched more than I have. I mean, that's no secret. You're a Steelers fan. I'm not. I would have to do more research onto the guy. Stat wise, he doesn't really match these other guys. So that's one of those ones I'd probably do my own research and kind of come back to that. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I can tell you, he among 2025, the stat line of 2025, he ranks 10 in pass rush grading and all the metrics.
And to me, he's young from what I'm looking at. Him and Will Anderson are both very young players. To me, I think Will Anderson is better.
I like Will Anderson and I like Danielle Hunter too. I think they have each other though, you know.
But I can say the same. We can say the same for TJ Watt and him.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though they're a better. I mean, we don't got. It's not even a debate. Texans defense is the fucking scariest shit in the world.
But also to take into account, TJ was out 4 games with a collapsed lung. So and those were the games
a lot of shit.
Stepped up and he showed me, you know, what I saw. Right.
So this is your prediction going into next season. So he's probably gonna break out. Shit like that. Yeah. I can't argue. Yeah. I would have to look into. I'm gonna be watching them.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still defense in my fantasy. So I definitely watching your team.
That leads me right into my honorable mention for number for our defensive lineman. I think it's only right we go right to defensive lineman.
Yes.
And actually I'm gonna save my honorable mention for last because I think my honorable mention is number 1, if that makes sense. You might know who I'm talking about already. Defensive lineman, let's go ahead and start at number 5. I have Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans. I have
Okay, yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons at number 5. He had 12 sacks, 42 stops, and 3 forced fumbles on the last season. Tennessee, him and Sweat, they have each other, but they're doing good things down there on that Tennessee defense in that front.
There's not a lot on that too, so
And there's not a lot. For number 4, I had Jordan Davis. For number 4, defensive lineman, I'm going Jordan Davis. Had a breakout season last season, stepped up when Jalen Carter kind of faded out, and held that Eagles defensive front down. He held that defensive front down. So I had him coming in at number 4. At number 4, I had number 3, I had Tavondre Sweat from Tennessee as well. I like Sweat. I know a good defensive lineman when I see one, and I think he has the potential to start something good for Tennessee. Also, like I said, coupled with Simmons, I think they are doing good things down there. He had 70, 79, and 80 defensive grade on rushing offense, and that was only for 12 games that he played.
who's that?
And then
What was the name? I'm sorry.
Tavondre Sweat.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, for the Tennessee.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's not kind of the pass rusher defensive lineman. He's kind of the run stopper, right? So that's why I took Tavondre Sweat at number 3. At number 2, I have Quentin Williams. Going over there, down there to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Again, Tip,
Disrespectful.
them not being in your top 10 is a little suspect.
I mean, it's weird that you're convincing me, but no, it's crazy, Cole. We're gonna be surprised when we get to the next. We're gonna talk.
I think it's crazy. Von Miller, Quentin Williams. I think it's crazy. Last season, 51 pressures, 35 stops, leading the league in 22 tackles for defensive linemen, and an 88 PFF grade. Takes the cake, right? For Quentin Williams. And he did that for the Jets. I can only imagine what he'll do for
defense,
that, right? Yeah. Number 1, I don't think I can go anywhere else. I think like maybe y'all saw a theme in my offensive categories. I went a lot of Dallas. You might see a lot of defense. It might be a lot of Pittsburgh. I don't know. Cameron Hayward takes number 1 for me. I went Cameron Hayward number 1 for defensive lineman. He pulled a PFF grade of 90, the highest of all D linemen. 53 pressures, 4 sacks, 6 batted passes. And this is all at 36 years old, right? He's among the oldest defensive linemen that are in the league. And still had a pass rush rating of 16%. Of all passes that he was rushing on, did not get off. So I think that's pretty good. And he's the veteran. He's the veteran of the core. So I went Cameron Hayward for sure. Now, to get into my honorable mention, like I said, who I feel is number 1. There has been talk, there has been rumor, there has been scuttlebutt. Everyone's saying that the greatest of all greats, the greatest defensive lineman to ever step foot on a field is returning to the NFL after being in retirement for 3 seasons. Aaron Donald. No need for an honorable mention. No need for a stat. No need for a duh. He left at the top of his game, and he can certainly return at the very tippy top of his game. So my number 1 defensive lineman, I have to go Aaron Donald. As a defensive lineman, I have to.
Okay.
What you got, Tip?
Did you mention Leonard Williams?
I did not mention Leonard Williams.
What? I'm a little shocked on that. I mean, he to me probably one of the best all around D lineman seasons. So yeah, that was my number 1. Now I'm with you. If Aaron Donald comes back and he's like, "Yo, I'm good," he probably he automatically, in my opinion, he automatically jumps to number 1. Like that's not even. I don't care when that nigga could have played 10 years ago. I'm like, fuck it, number 1.
Yeah.
Just like the way he just stayed in shape the whole time. But only time will tell. But yeah, I'm my number 1. I have Leonard Williams. I think overall he had one of the better D lineman seasons. I do understand that he is on the older side, so that's probably why Kobe didn't have really up there. So I cannot blame him for that because he's probably on his last 2-3 years, I would say, of like real competitive
I would
football.
say my philosophy where Leonard Williams was my same philosophy for Chris Jones, if that makes sense.
I can't argue that. I get it because they're on the older side. This is going into next season. There's a slight chance he might drop off. We don't know yet. So I get it. So at my number 2, I do have Chris Jones. Like I said, going into next season, I'm assuming he's gonna maintain what he's always done. But it could be some back steps, as far as just how he plays. So I get what you're saying there. Now I'm kind of rethinking my list a little bit. Then I have Jeffrey Simmons, from Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
Straight dog.
Yeah.
We don't really got to touch on that too much. I mean, the only thing the Titans do have is a solid D line.
Yeah.
Then I got Quinnen Williams at my 4 spot. He could have been higher. Could have been higher. But I mean, I the reason why I'm not so big on the Cowboys defense is because I've lived with so many heartbreaks, Kobe, that I'm always scared.
I get it. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm scared to put them in certain spots, but you're gonna see on the next few lists, you can see where I might be changing up a little bit. So at my 5 spot, I was debatable. I didn't know who to put. You had me thinking about the Cam Hayward a little bit and the Jordan Davis. I was a little in a toss-up. Same with Jalen Carter. I know Jalen Carter had a drop-off year, but I also know what he's capable of. So those 3 guys, I'm cool. If you want to put them 5, I'll take whoever. I really don't care. I'm probably gonna give the nod to Cam Hayward. Just gotta at the end of the day, I'm gonna give my hat off to the vet. So if the vet was balling, I'm gonna just keep the vet there. But Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, to me, can shoot up between 1 and 5, honestly. At any given moment. Like I said, they are a duo, so it's always hard to grade duos, because they don't get the same attention as these other guys we did mention. But I will finish it off with that. Yep.
That was interesting. That was interesting, to say the least. Leonard Williams and Chris Jones being top 2 for me kind of falls flat. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Kind of falls flat because I think undeniably, and this is stat wise for me. I think I can back it up stat wise, but I think also for when we take into account eye test, Quinnen Williams and Cameron Hayward are pound for pound the best defensive linemen in the league right now. And I think other names like Jordan Davis and those other guys are probably guys you're not really, hip to yet. And yeah, but I definitely agree with the names. I won't say I agree with the placements, right?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you like I said, you know a lot more about D linemen than I do. That's not a position I ever really watched when I watch football. You play the position and you watch that position probably the most because it's the position you played. So you probably have a different outlook on how I view these guys. But yeah, I won't argue that. This is just from what I hear and what I see for the most part. But yeah, I'll leave it with that.
Okay. Yeah. I think the audience will kind of agree with that, right? I think there will be along those lines. Going from the defensive line, I think we keep it in the box and let's go our linebackers next. And you can go ahead and continue. You can go with your linebackers first.
So yeah, I mean, starting off first, I know he's coming off an injury, but I think he's the consensus best linebacker for the past, will we say 4 or 5 years, maybe 3, and that would be Fred Warner. Number 1. Like I said, I know he's coming off an injury, so I don't. I'm assuming he's gonna return, hopefully the same. But I think he's been the best linebacker. I think consensus top 2, top 1, however you want to put him, linebacker in the league. So then at number 2, I was a little debatable with this one. I did question a little bit because I don't know how I really want to grade this guy because the guy I have after him can possibly be at that number 2 spot or even number 1, depending on how you look at it. That's Raekwon Smith at number 2.
Roquan. Yep.
Talk about a hard hitter. I think he's one of the cornerstones of that Ravens defense. Arguably probably the best defensive player on that Ravens defense. And then I have Al Shazier at my number 3. Like I said, that's a hard person to grade. Because that defense is so stacked, it's almost like you don't know what the fuck to do when you see that defense. So I think what he's able to do, eye test wise, I think he's probably one of the better ones on the list. He can possibly be one just if you just watch him and what he's able to do outside of Fred Warner. I think Fred Warner is the smartest linebacker of all time. Then I got Zach Bond. I didn't know where I wanted to put him exactly.
That's nice. I'm glad you said his name. Well, okay.
I didn't know exactly. Yeah, I didn't know exactly where to put him. I knew he's top 5. I just didn't know exactly where I would put him top 5. But I feel like it was just easy to put him at 4.
Okay.
The last guy on my list might be questionable, may not be. I don't know how you're gonna look at it. It's the linebacker for the Browns. That is Carson. Carson Schweizner, or whatever his name is. To me, he had one of the best linebacker seasons we saw this year.
Can you read his stat line to me? Do you have it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm pulling up now. I knew you were gonna ask me. 64 tackles, which I think was insane. 89 were assisted, 2.5 sacks, which wasn't really that high. But what I liked the most is that he had 2 interceptions on the year. And that's what I was mainly most impressed with. With 3 pass deflections as well.
Okay. I see your philosophy.
To me, he was kind of like that second cornerstone to that Browns defense outside of Myles Garrett. And he was only a rookie. So for me, I have him top 5 because when it comes to linebackers, defenders, they normally don't drop off from their first to second year like other.
He was your number 5, right?
He was my number 5.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes me feel good. My list is a little similar, a little different.
Okay.
Number 5. And I'm glad you read his stats off because now we can kind of tussle about this, right?
Okay.
Number 5, I have Pittsburgh Steelers outside linebacker Alex Highsmith. I'm sure you're not familiar with Alex Highsmith.
No, that one I do know. That one I do know.
Okay, then a great last 4 seasons. He is just now becoming a starter, getting more reps in the rotation for the Steelers defense, and rightfully so. Last season stats pulled in 50 tackles. 36 of those were solo, 9.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and that's in 13 games that he played. So I'm going Alex Highsmith for number 5. Number 4, also his teammate, Pittsburgh Steelers, Roman Wilson. Peyton Wilson, not Roman Wilson. Peyton Wilson, not the receiver, the linebacker. Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson is a dog. If you don't know, you will find out this season. Peyton Wilson for the Pittsburgh Steelers is a dog.
You got 2 linebackers?
Yes. One outside, one inside. Yep.
Wait, did Highsmith play last year?
Yeah, he played 13 games.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find it. I don't see anything for this year.
Yeah, 2025 stats: 50 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 1 for a fumble.
Okay.
So I have them at my 5 and my 4. At my 3, I have Zach Bond. I agree with you. I agree. Zach Bond is the top 5 linebacker, right? Especially with the likes of people he came in with, he's doing way better than Patrick Queen. Sorry, I wish we never signed you. You're fucking terrible. You're lazy. I agree. You should be here and you're not. 2 years ago, you may have been here and you're not. So for me, you've dropped off. Number 3, I'm going Zach Bond. I have to go Zach Bond. Like you said, you don't know where to put him, but you know he's there, right? Number 2, I'm going Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith had an amazing season. Roquan Smith is the staple of that Baltimore defense, and there's nothing else to be said about it. Number 1, I have to give it to Fred Warner as well for the 49ers. Fred Warner is pound for pound the best inside, outside linebacker there is in the league right now.
Probably all it could, possibly you can put him all time best middle linebacker. You can
argue all time for sure.
Yeah, you can.
I wouldn't say he's better than Ray Lewis or the greats, but he can be in that argument for sure. Yeah, so linebackers was pretty. Did you have anything to say about my list? I mean,
honestly, I agree with the two Steelers players, me personally, over the other guys I named.
But that's why I was glad you named the Browns guy, and I was also glad you named his stats because Alex Highsmith had better stats.
He did?
Yeah. Well, it could go either way. He has 64 tackles. Alex has 50. So he took it in that category, but he had 9.5 sacks while that the Browns only had Browns.
That's one of those ones. Which one you prefer?
Where you bring in your eye test, right?
Yeah, that's eye or preference. It's like if you want a scoring point guard or a pass first point guard, it's like one of those things. Yep. So I'm not mad. Are they outside linebackers or outside backers? Right?
Alex is outside. Roman, Peyton Wilson is inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And to clarify, I can give you Peyton Wilson's 2025 stats.
Yeah, I was about to say, let me get his real quick.
Peyton Wilson for the Pittsburgh Steelers came in at 79 tackles. 62 of those were solo, 2 sacks and 1 interception on the season for 2025. He played all 17 games.
Okay. Like I'll have to look into it. I don't agree as of yet. I'll have to look into it. I'm gonna be watching Steelers this year like crazy. Like I said, I have them in my fantasy football team as my defense. So I'll definitely be taking notice into that. But as of right now, I don't agree. But like I said, this is going into next season, so these are all predictions. Who we thinking to have good years. So yeah.
Yep. And then let's go ahead and jump to our DBs, right? Let's just go ahead.
Which one we gonna do? Safety or corner? What we gonna do first?
Let's do safety first because I think corners are definitely highly anticipated. So let's do our safeties first. And I'll start. Okay. I'll start at number 5. Number 5. Like I said, for my offense, there was a theme. There was Dallas Cowboys. There was a lot of Dallas Cowboys, and I meant what I said when I said for my defense, there would be a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers. I think pound for pound, we should have the best defense in the league, and I'm so mad that we didn't. I think we have the highest paid defense. It should amount to skill as well. Number 5, I'm going with Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey.
5?
I do.
Kobe, I got him higher than that.
I had Jalen Ramsey number 5.
Are you being courteous? Like, what do you like? What
I was being careful, right?
I was going to argue if you had him higher.
I already had Roman. I already had Peyton Wilson. I already had Herbig. I already had fucking Hayward. I had TJ Watt. I wanted to be careful with my DBs, right? Because they did. No, because they did their job last season, but there were moments of pause for me for Jalen Ramsey, right?
Once you started playing more nickel, it got a little bit better.
Yes, he's older, and I think he's older. I think he's a little slower than he used to be. So taking him out of the corner spot was for the best. But I also think, at the same time, in his defense, he's playing nastier than he's ever played before, in my opinion. He's hitting harder. He's getting more tackles. I'm liking the more aggressive Jalen Ramsey, right? At number 4, I had Kelly Ringo for the Philadelphia Eagles. I had Kelly Ringo for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really know how to expand or expound on him. I'll just say you can't sleep on Philly's secondary. You just can't. Number 3, I have Hamilton from where the fuck is Hamilton from?
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
You have what number?
3? I have him at 3. I have him at 3.
I hear 1 and 2. Really
at my 2 spot, I have Jesse Bates.
You have him 2?
Jesse Bates at number 2. Yeah. And number 1, I'm going for the number 1 safety in the league.
Xavier McKinney?
I think no. I think when we talk staples, I think when we talk guys who've had consistently good seasons, he's in a new home this season again. And I think he has potential to break out again. I'm going number one, pound for pound, the best safety in the league, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Nah, I'm not. I can't. That one I can't do. That one I can't do. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I feel like once you go to the Jets, man, you're just asking to die.
That's
Like,
true. That's true. But I think defensively is different. Actually, you can't say that because Sauce almost died there too. So yeah. But I think Minka's different. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Minka ends back up on the Steelers within the next year or so.
I wouldn't be surprised. I actually wouldn't be surprised either. I would leave as fast as possible. I don't have Minka. I don't think I have him in my honorable mention, bro.
Really? You can't honorable mention Minka Fitzpatrick as a safety
I don't think
in this league?
I don't think I did because that year with the Dolphins, I was gonna scratch in my head like there was dudes better than
year, the year before he came to us.
Last year. So this past year when he was with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean that was a stain in my opinion. That's a harsh stain.
I see.
And you didn't mention the Nigerian boy from Seattle, Nick Amaz. I mean, I don't have him in my top 5 either. I just want to know your reasoning.
What's his name?
The Nick Amawari or Amawari.
Yeah, no,
the dude that was putting shit down on Seattle, like he was actually clamping shit. He hit hard. When you look him up.
Okay.
But I'm surprised. And Xavier McKinney, I don't know how you don't have him up there. That's what bothered me the most.
Yeah, I didn't have Xavier McKinney up there.
Yeah,
I struggled with Kelly Ringo. That's the only one I really struggled with. I did struggle with putting Jesse Bates at number 2. I thought Jesse Bates deserved the number 1 spot. And Ramsey, I'd struggle with putting Ramsey at 5. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, all right. So I'm kind of different from you, Kobe. Like a lot different.
Okay.
At number 5, I'm gonna shock you right now. I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna shock you. I got Caleb Downs number 5. He ain't touched the field yet. And I'm dead serious. That's the crazy. I'm dead ass too. I'm dead serious. I have at number 5. I think when you look at safety talent and intangibles and IQ, I think he's gonna be one of those smarter DBs we've ever seen. I saw it in the camp where he's guarding George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I think when you're going against those level of talent, you're bound to get better. I don't care what level you're at, how bad or how good you are. You go against George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb every fucking day in practice, you're going to get good. And I expect big things because I don't know if he's going to see that much of trouble defensively in the league. Outside, I mean, you got the Puka and Devontae Adams, but just off weapons for receiver wise,
Justin Jefferson.
He's not going to see that type of offense for real.
But you also have to take into account that Caleb Downs is going to be your CB1. He's going to be thrust into a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he's going to be playing that nickel guarding the best receiver. Odds are. Not even odds are. He is. Like, there's no doubt, probably.
Yeah.
So I think if he starts off shaky, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think he will be considered a top 5. Like I said, these are predictions going into next year. I want to make that very clear, folks. Number 4, I got Xavier McKinney. I don't know why you didn't have him in your top 5. I thought he was a consensus top 5. But if you have him in your honorable mentions, I'll take that. Dude is young, only 26 years old. Eye test wise, he's one of the ones. I think he's the best DB on that Green Bay Packers team. I think he was a staple on that defensive side, especially when Mike was out. I think all eyes were on him. Then at number 3, I'm surprised you didn't say his name. I know he's a little bit on the older side, but I got Derwin James. I still think he has a little bit left in the tank. Hard hitter, great tackler, smart IQ wise, the whole 9. I think he should be in people's top 5 or honorable mentions. At number 2, which shocked me that I thought you would have number 2, and that's Jalen Ramsey. I thought you would have had him at number 2. He's moving to that nickel spot. He's playing more safety. He was playing a lot of corner last year, but towards the end they did move him to safety, and I think we saw a lot better version of Jalen Ramsey. Kind of what they did to Dion at one point. Eventually they got to move you when you're on the end of your career, especially as a great DB and IQ wise. They move you to safety. I think now he might be in that number 2 threshold, possibly. Not 100%, but I think he will be there. At number 1, I got Kyle Hamilton. Dude is a 6'4" safety, can do it all. There's nothing. He's like kind of like how we thought Buda Baker was going to turn out with this, or was Isaiah Simmons, where they just look like they can play every position known to man on the defensive side. And so that's why I have him at my number 1, just off versatility and being outside of Raekwon Smith, the best defender on that team.
Yeah. I don't argue your list. I wouldn't argue your list. I'm definitely not going to argue Jalen Ramsey getting a number 2 spot. I do, and maybe once we get to the corners, you'll shine a little bit of light on them. But I find it weird we're not seeing any Philly players in your list on defense.
I think when you have such a great D line, it kind of helps you a little bit, especially as your DB. I mean, you would know that. We kind of saw it with the Cowboys at one point when they had Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons. The reason why Trayvon was able to gamble on a lot of the shit he was doing was because Micah was getting into that backfield so fast where they just released the ball.
Right.
That's not a knock on the Eagles players. I just don't think they're the best coverage-wise, safety-wise.
Okay.
Another white boy, I forgot his name. He is a little bit better on the coverage side. Yeah, but
Cooper or Kelly Ringo, because they're both.
Who's the one that's dating the
Nikki Bella?
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean. Yeah.
Cooper DeJean. Yeah, Cooper DeJean. I think he's one of the better coverage-wise, even though
he's a corner. So
yeah, he plays more that hybrid role. But I don't look at none of the DBs on the Eagles. They don't have like an exact position. If that makes sense.
Which I think makes them dangerous.
That's it. That's what make as a defense as a whole. Like I think they have the best DBs as a whole, as a unit. I think they have the best DBs, but I can't really put a single person in a single position. Like they're kind of like that, like positionless backfield.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I don't really know how to put them.
I think that brings us to the last position of the night. Probably one of among the highly anticipated.
Yes.
And I know that there might be some qualms about mine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. Number 5, I have Indianapolis Colts, Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, like we just said, he was in the cemetery over there at the Jets, and now he's given some life. He's given another chance to live with the Indianapolis Colts, and I think what I have liked to see him on a more established defense, like maybe Dallas, like maybe, or a more establishing defense like Dallas, who needs something, who has a little bit of something but needs something more. I would have loved to see him somewhere like that. I would have loved to see him on the Raiders. I would have loved to see him.
Pittsburgh,
just somewhere.
even for your team.
I was gonna say Pittsburgh. I would love to see him.
I think any team, bro.
I can't lie. I think putting Sauce Gardner in Pittsburgh is kind of an overload. If you
that is overkill. Same thing. I was thinking Rams, but they got Trent. So
that's overkill too. Yeah, like Eagles, that's overkill. I think where there's like 2 or 3 good players, and you throw him in there, and he's that 4th piece. I think those kind of teams.
He could be a missing. He's definitely a missing piece for a lot of contenders.
This one is going to rile the people up, and I know it will. It might rile you up, but I don't give a fuck because I can back it up. At number 4, I have Pittsburgh Steelers, Joey Porter Jr.
I'm not going to argue that.
Joey Porter Jr. is going into his senior season. Joey Porter Jr. in his last 3 seasons has a combined 165 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 31 passes defended. In 3 seasons, Joey Porter Jr. has led up how many touchdowns?
1.
1 touchdown in 3 seasons. 50 yards in 3 seasons. I think Joey Porter Jr. at 24 years old gets to make
24
the top. Yes, gets to make the top 5 list. Joey Porter Jr. has been a controversial player to put in top 5 lists among corners because of his undisciplined nature, because he's prone to getting flags. He's prone to being a yard getter. He's prone, and that's not something you want on defense. You don't want someone who's getting yards. You don't want someone who's getting flags. You want your DBs to be disciplined when that ball is up in the air. And that was, for me and for a lot of people, that was Joey Porter Jr.'s biggest kind of downfall was his undisciplined nature, right? But with all those other
Jamil Dean is better.
Who?
Jamil Dean.
I don't.
Okay.
I think
I generally can't argue with you about that. Like,
for me, in my head, I think there are only 2 guys that are undoubtedly better than Joey Porter Jr. in that cornerback spot. But the other guy made it for me because I like the way he plays, right? So, and that guy is number 3. I have Christian Gonzalez from the New England Patriots. I have Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez had a great season last season. He was the cornerstone of the Patriots defense. And I have him at number 3, rightfully so. Right. Number 2 and number 1 are unexplainable. Well, not unexplainable, but they're undeniable. I think you can interchange them if you want. But number 1 and 2 for me. Number 2, I have Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, okay.
The top so you already know that number 1 leaves Pat Surtain.
Yeah. Top 3, I can't argue. I would never argue the top 3.
Gonzo, Stingley, and
yeah, Pat. Yeah, if you don't have that as your top 3, I don't know what you're watching. I generally don't know what you're watching. Yeah, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know like some littler kids might have Sauce up there, but Sauce hasn't shown enough yet. Like,
okay, yeah. Yeah,
I see you thinking you may have heard some names that you weren't even thinking of.
Not that. There's some names I thought you were gonna say that you didn't say.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start from my top. I'm gonna start from the top. Just so we can get it out the way. Right. So at number 1, me personally, and like I said, I can't argue with your top 3. Like I think you can go either way with the top 3.
You think I was gonna say, do you think it's interchangeable?
Yeah, it's interchangeable. Yeah, the top 3. I mean, I got Christian Gonzalez at number 1.
Number 1. Wow.
I have him number 1.
I feel like that's my only qualm. I feel like Pat is undeniable.
You think
I feel like Stingley and Gonzo you can interchange, but I think Pat is undeniable last season.
See, I was thinking Christian and Pat were interchangeable, but Derek is a dead number 3.
Dead number. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see the argument for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I would love to see if we have someone else to see there.
Argument against you, like I can't. It would just be stupid. We'll be arguing about the same thing. So yeah, that's just who I have in my top 3. Now the 4 and 5 spot, that's where I think we're gonna see some
differences.
Differences, because I didn't know who to put at my 4 and 5 because so many that. The top 3 is such a gap between everybody else. It's not even funny. Like I feel like it's a nice gap. But I personally have Denzel Ward at number 4.
Denzel Ward is an honorable mention for me.
That's
sorry.
Your honorable mention.
Yeah.
I can't really argue that. That is one of those guys. And then at 5, I was iffy again. It was between Trent McDuffie, Sauce Gardner, Devin Witherspoon, and Jalen Johnson. I didn't know who I was gonna put at number 5. But ultimately I did go with Trent McDuffie. I think now that he's on the Rams, I think he's gonna be bound to have a good season, like we kind of said with the the Eagles team where when your edge rushers and everyone is doing well, the DBs just tend to play better. I think he's in the best situation to play better going into next year. So yeah, that's my 5. And honorable mentions, obviously the names I said: Devin Witherspoon, Jalen Johnson, Sauce Gardner, and you can throw in DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell and Witherspoon.
Didn't Quinyon Mitchell were in my, or were they were
So
in my,
yeah, they're those 3 guys, those 3 corners or safety, whatever they fucking want to play. Those guys are all my honorable mentions. I think the DBs on the Eagles side are stacked. I think they have one of the better stacked teams. I don't know how they're not the best defense in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how they're not, which is kind of weird to say.
I think the same could be said for Pittsburgh, but you know.
Yeah, but at least with you guys, it's injury. Like I can be like, oh, this guy wasn't completely healthy. Yeah. This guy's having off the field, like he's not disciplined. Like no, everyone's disciplined on the Eagles team outside of Jalen Carter. Yeah. So I don't know how they're not. Like they should be number 1.
I don't know. We might have to go tap Cy and see what Cy doing, and maybe get him on the episode of Sports and Shit, so we can hear what he got to say.
Yeah, but the Eagles on paper to me are the best defensive team on paper. Let me emphasize on paper.
I think we have about a week and a half left until the season starts, Tip. So we are going to start finding out the answers to all the questions and all the predictions that we've been asking, right? Sports and Shit is on fire. We are talking everything sports, as y'all saw earlier. We spoke about it on this Kanter. We had a debate about Aaron Rodgers, and we just told y'all our top 5 position lists. Last week, we sent Instagram ablaze by giving our top 10 lists. I can only imagine what the response will be for this. Next week, I'm sure Brock will be back. I'm sure we'll probably see him next week. I'm not sure. Sports and Shit is the crazy ass show. And I think y'all are going to realize that sooner or later, which is why it is the newest series under the umbrella of the Crazy Talk podcast. It is your boy, none other than Call Me .Krazy, aka Kobe Nasir Wallace. And I'm here with none other than my boy, my co-host, Noah fucking Tip. And it's your boys. And we signing out.